يعني التقاروة لغلطتهم طبعا، حساباتهم الغلط كان زمان، بدل يجيبهم اويل ليب كتنظيم كون نفسه تنظيم شعبي قام من النص. لا، ابو اويل لف وجابوا المساجين دي ناس كومة مكسب والجماعه دي وبتاع، وناس تامرات لايني برضو بتاع لموا ناس ايه دي، ناس دمخي والجماعه دي، الناس كلهم الناس اللي بيقول لهم يس 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 كويس. زي قصه اللي كانوا بيسووها ناس المؤتمر الوطني، يعني يقول لك الولاء قبل الكفاءه ومش عارف ايه الكلام بتاع ده، يعني ودمروا بها البلد يعني. فنفس الشيء دي كان عندهم نفس الشيء، جابوا لهم ناس ولا، وده عملوه علينا في بني شنغول. احنا كنا مناضلين معاهم وكنا معاهم في الخلا وضد منقسط وكده، لكن اول ما جو نحن جيشنا يعني عمل الجيش الوطني بتاع اثيوبيا بتاع الغش ده، والضعفاء منا سلموهم جيشنا. بعد ذاك جابوا اولاد صغار وجابوا ناس يا رجل وجابوا هسه منه الامتداد بتاع الشاذلي وكذا، انه يكون عندهم ولاء لهم. ما كانوا عايزين ناس وطنيين بيقولوا لهم لا زينا كده. ما دامت لي دمعة بتسيل في عيوني ودم بتجري في عروقي، لا بد للاحتلال الحبشي أن يزول من أرض بني شنغول، لابد. وأنا بعمل كده وبربي الأجيال الجاية على كده، إني قاوم الاحتلال بما كل ما أوتي من وسيلة. لا بد من خروج الاحتلال. ده اللي تعلمنا في السجون، لأنه سجنونا بلا سبب. في اليوم اللي احنا رضينا بدستورهم التافه، في اليوم اللي احنا رضينا بانه نسلم جيشنا، في اليوم اللي احنا رضينا بانه نكون في قشونا بديمقراطيتهم المزوره وبالفدراليه المزوره، خانونا ما تمينا 24 ساعه برا. مية وأربعة وعشرين سنه، 124 سنه لوحدنا في الميدان. ربنا معانا، نقاوم، والحمد لله الله سلطهم على بعض الآن.
Thank you for Oromia community inviting us for this big event. Welcome to Brother Jowar. Seeing him again in Winnipeg is an honor. And really the time you guys are suffering in jail many times. We try to have a prayer for you guys because in politics, going to jail is an obvious thing because as politician you have two rooms in this world, either in a palace, being a ruler, or in jail, being there because people they don't like what you say. To go shortly, the question I have to Mr. Jowar, where is the Prime Minister? The reason I'm asking, one of three, either, as the people are saying now, he's dying or he's dead. Are you the next prime minister? Because for me, the Ethiopia I see today, if there is 5 in the short list, Jowhar must be one of them and the top of it. Then the real question will come. Are you considering confederation as the coming system to rule Ethiopia? Because we failed in federation. Actually, they failed us with federation. They failed us in democracy. What we have is just king after king. Sometimes they came with the color of socialist. Sometimes they come with the color of federalist. Sometimes we come with Belgina. Are you considering this if you are the next prime minister to this empire? Because the problem is not Arab Kilo. The problem is the system itself is corrupted. The system is ugly. Is a system built on master and slave since the start. And this is what we feel actually in Benishangul since a century and 24 years, 124 years, this empire treated us inhumane. Thank you very much.
The question from my brother from Benishangul, thank you for coming. The people of Benishangul has been going through some difficult time, particularly what's happening to the Gumus. It's shameful. It's actually sad. It's really, I feel ashamed even explaining what's happening to the Gumus people. In Africa, aren't we all Africans? You know, I went to Asosa with Bakale. I saw true racism for first time in Asosa. The Highlanders, Oromos and Amharas and others, the way they look down on dark-skinned people, it's really shameful. Now in Matakal, people are being killed for their skin. Can you believe it, Maman Sirallaju? So kalaru ataito selatakora bicha igadalan ko. Many of the cities in Benishangul have been depopulated of our dark-skinned Gumus brothers. I know people rather prefer not to talk about this. Amharas, Oromos, Tigrayans, all complain about genocide. If there is ethnic extermination, it's happening against the Gumus people. If there is ethnic extermination in Ethiopia, it's actually because villages, towns have been depopulated, they have been pushed into the bushes by state-sponsored actors. I'm glad you came, and I think you should speak loudly and people should really listen and really understand. Do you know what is sad? Nobody talks about it. The Human Rights Commission, the media, no one actually talks about it. When we were in prison, when Human Rights Commission, Red Cross, everybody, whenever they come, we used to talk more about Gumus than about Oromos, because what we saw when we went there, and when we came back from Benishangul, we presented what we saw to the federal and regional authorities, to the House of Federation. We warned them what was coming. Sadly, it happened, and the people of Gumus actually are facing probably the most serious threat in the country. Thank you for coming. I'm with you. I will speak for the people who are facing real extermination in the country. As to your question where the Prime Minister is, I don't know. I think the government should actually makes this public. You know, this thing I'm telling you earlier about this commercialization and PRization of politics, everything became a joke. When the head of government is absent for a while, there is a lot of rumor going on. This affects the economy. This affects security. People are asking questions about this. Therefore, the government has the obligation to inform the public about what happened. It's not my place to speculate. I don't wish anybody any harm, but the government need to make this public. They need to answer. I'm glad you asked it. I think the government should make disclosure of this because it's very important. In a country as fragile as Ethiopia, in a society as fragmented, as polarized as Ethiopia, silence on the fate of the head of government is playing with fire. So it's very important the government comes out and speaks about it. About confederation. Did we really try federalism? No, we didn't. In Ethiopia, there was never true federalism. True federalism means it has two, you guys live in federal country. Federalism entails two things. One, structural devolution of administrative devolution. Second, power devolution. You decentralize the country structurally, then you decentralize decision-making power. What Mallas did was the first one only. He decentralized administration. He created Oromia, Benishangul, Tigray, and so forth. Structure, the skeleton was decentralized. Power remained concentrated and centralized. By the way, you cannot have a federal system without democracy because the whole concept of federalism entails vertical as well as horizontal negotiation and bargain. Negotiation between states and federal government, negotiation between neighboring and other states. In absence of democracy, where power is centralized, there will be no negotiation. Negotiation is impossible for vertical and horizontal. So we have not really experimented with federalism. We try to implement pseudo-federalism. In the last 4 years, we had an opportunity to actually democratize the system. That's what we fought for. And instead of democratizing, instead of correcting the defect of federalism, they wanted to re-centralize it. Boom, that's the problem you have now. So moving forward, we shouldn't really rush towards experimenting with something new. Let's try to fix what we have. But I'm not going to debate whether federalism or confederation is important. I have my own opinion. I've studied it. I have my own position. I will present it when the time comes. What's needed actually is to open a space for this kind of discussion to take place in a structured manner. I think 4 steps are necessary for Ethiopia to come out of the current situation. The first is ceasefire. We cannot talk about federation, confederation, democracy, and so on in the presence of active war. So ceasefire in Tigray, ceasefire in Amhara, ceasefire in Benishangul, ceasefire in Oromia. I'm not talking about disarming, but silencing the guns. Once we silence the guns and bring the political actors into the political space, we move to the next phase, which is negotiation. We need to develop a new social contract. We need to negotiate issues you are raising about the structure of the state, horizontal relation between communities, vertical relation between communities, individuals, and the state has to be negotiated. It has to be discussed. So, ceasefire, negotiation. Number three is reconciliation. Since the formation of state and even during our lifetime, a lot of suffering and pain have been caused. The social fabric has been torn apart. So we need to negotiate. We need to reconcile the society. We have to seek truth and justice. So on the third, we come to reconciliation. At the end, once we do ceasefire, negotiation, reconciliation, which also entails reconstruction, justice, and so forth, then we come to democratization. 5 years ago, I was talking about democratization. Now I don't talk much about democratization. Because you cannot talk about democratizing a state that is engulfed in multiple civil wars. So we end the civil war, we negotiate the new social contract, we reconcile our society, then we move toward this democratization. So we're going to need two roadmaps. First, the roadmap for peace, then roadmap for transition to democracy. But first, roadmap for peace is essential.
احنا بالنسبة له زاف قال زاف اقاتلوا، ده شدر قال حرقوهم. تخيل دي أمنا نعيش معانا احنا. فعندما نطالب بأنه من حقنا ناخذ تقرير المصير، من حقنا يكون عندنا كيان خاص بنا، لأنه ما يعانيه شعبنا. كل أسبوع نحن بتجينا الصور مش هارد بريكنج، يعني تهز النفس لأي زول عنده طفل، لأي زول عنده قريب يشوفوا مخنوقين. ودي من الأخبار السيئة، إنه في منطقة دنقور، في منطقة دباطي، حرقوا أكثر من 50 أسرة ليلا وهم نائمون. حبس جبنة ما يهاجموا المناطق اللي فيها معسكرات قوات دفاع بني شنغال، يهاجموا المناطق اللي فيها المواطنين نايمين آمنين في غاباتهم جوا غاباتهم، يمشي يهاجمون بنص الليل يحرقوهم. حرقوا 50 أسرة تحت بيوتهم. طبعا بيوتنا هناك ما بيوت مؤقتة بتاعت القش دي، من فوق قش من تحت قش. ما في زول في الحكومة أدان هذه القضية، وما في زول عمل تحقيق. وده بيحصل كل مرة. أبي أحمد أول ما استلم السلطة حرق 400 قرية، 400 قرية في منطقة جاوي، في منطقة متكل. لغاية هسه ما عملوا تحقيق، لغاية هسه ما عملوا أي إدانة من أي جهة. نحن ما مع حرق أي إنسان، لكن هسه التجارب اللي اتحرقوا قبل أسبوع وكان فيهم 2 من ناسنا، العالم ده كله وقف أدانوا حتى في البيت الأبيض. لكن لما يحرق إنسان بني شنقول لا حد يدين، ما في أي زول لا في المنطقة لا في غيره لا في إفريقيا لا في العالم. كأنهم صدقوا كلام الحبش إنه نحن ناس حطب يجب أن يحرقونا. ونحن من هذا المنبر ننادي ذوي الضمير الحية في العالم، بغض النظر انت منه، كل المدنيين، المنظمات المدنية، المنظمات الإنسانية، الحكام المناطق، نحن كبشر نستحق الحماية، كبشر نستحق الحماية.